Namaste, my dear friends. So far, we referred time of supply, place of supply, and value of supply. Now, I am referring exemptions under the GST. That means supply of goods, supply of services are both which are exempted by notification issued by the Government of India. There are 83 exemptions are there in the notification number 12 oblique 2017 of central tax. What is exempted? Intrastate also be exempted at interstate. However, what is exempted at interstate not mentioned in the intrastate because the transaction is not belongs to intrastate. It is interstate transaction. That means to say that more than 83 exemptions are also available in the integrated tax, namely notification number 9 oblique 2017 of integrated tax. Supply of goods separately given, supply of services separately given. Here, presenting first and foremost, supply of goods, exempted supply. You should understand here, exempted supply, my dear friends, absolutely different from zero rated supply. In case of zero rated supply, the rate of GST 0% will apply. A person dealing with a zero rate supply is eligible to claim input tax credit on account of export where there is zero rate supply. Still, excess credit, accumulated credit is there in the books that can ask for refund. Whereas in the case of exempted supply of goods or services, the person who deals with the exempted supply apply nil rate of GST. If there is a case, that gentleman not eligible to claim input tax credit. At the same time, such a taxpayer outside the what we can call it as VAT chain, value added tax, he is not eligible to avail input tax credit. I mean to say that, meaning thereby I purchase the goods or I receive the services by payment of the GST that I use in my production process. I produce a new product, or I am going to supply a different service which fortunately fallen under the exempted supply of goods or services. On my output supply, I am not paying any tax. Therefore, there is no cascading. If there is no cascading, question of claiming of input tax credit does not arise because input tax credit is claiming only to eliminate cascading effect of tax. In the given case, for a supplier whose supply wholly exempted from the payment of the GST, in that case, his inward supply absolutely not qualify for input tax credit and it will form part of the cost. Now, at the same time, bringing to notice, my dear friends, we have section 11 of CGST, 11 subsection 1, 11 subsection 2, 11 subsection 3 of the CGST. Section 11 series talks about exemption, supported by notifications, detailed manner of explanations. General exemptions referred in the section 11.1, which consist of one, absolute exemption. Other one is called as exemption by imposing some conditions, which is called as conditional exemption. General absolute exemption as well as conditional exemption form part of the general exemptions. What do you mean by absolute exemption? Now, sir, a simple example I am bringing with regard to absolute exemption. Sometimes before we understand import of services by a non-taxable online recipient means an unregistered person for the purpose of other than the business or commerce. What is imported is not OIDR services, is not online money gaming services. Other than OIDR services, other than online money gaming services. Good. If I imported being an initial person for consideration, my import of services absolutely exempted. One more example, there are multiple examples are there. Sir, I'm a foreign ambassador to India. I'm Mr. Abdul Haq. I'm a foreign ambassador from Bangladesh to India. In that case, Abdul Haq is a foreign ambassador who provide the services in India, supply the services absolutely exempted, which is in his capacity of foreign ambassador. Absolute exemption. Then coming to the conditional exemption. What type of exemption is a conditional exemption? The best classical example I can say that composition scheme, where a person being a trader wanted to choose opt composition scheme, he should satisfy condition number 1. His aggregate turnover in the present financial year should not exceed 1.5 crores. Few states, he should not exceed 75 lakhs. And he should not dealt with non-taxable supply of goods or services. He should not supply interstate outward supply of goods or services. He allowed to supply intrastate supply of goods through e-commerce operator, but should not supply through e-commerce operator interstate outward supplies. Further, my dear friends, if those conditions are satisfied, then you are eligible for composition scheme, where you are going to pay as a trader 0.5% of CGST, 0.5% of HGST on taxable supplies. 0.5% is negligible rate of GST. In such case, we used to call this type of concessional rate of tax is one way or the other general exemption, under that conditional based exemption. Therefore, conditional exemption. Now coming to section 11 subsection 2, which talks about exemption by special order. Special order for a specific period of time in an abnormal situations, extraordinary cases, government upon the recommendation of GST Council will issue this type of exemption by special order. How to understand this? For example, in one particular state in India, flood came, flood. Due to that, the entire state fully badly affected. And you cannot expect the taxpayer who are residing in the state to pay the GST on or before the due date. Therefore, the government may grant relaxation to submit returns. At the same time, if the flood is affected badly in a particular state, as a helping hand, the government, upon the recommendation of GST Council, may come forward and say, the taxpayers who belongs to restaurant industry, taxpayers who belongs to short-term accommodation industry has place of business in the given state where the state badly affected with the natural calamity from so and so period to so and so period. Those taxpayers belongs to short-term accommodation industry as well as restaurant industry. From this period to this period, they are not required to pay GST. Government may notify upon the recommendation of GST Council. If they did so, such a type of notification issued is called as exemption by special order. Section 11, subsection 2. If they issued, it is not mandatory to issue. It is up to the discretion of the GST Council to do or not to do. Coming to section 11, subsection 3, which is somewhat technical point, one should know that. I will take this into this example. One particular example I am presenting, which is easily able to catch hold by you people. Sir, a case where government issued a notification to exempt supplier of service who distribute goods on behalf of the government, in short, public distribution system known as ration shop. Ration shop wala is not selling the goods, he is distributing the goods of the central government or state government, and for doing so, the distributor, namely ration shop wala, is to get the commission from government. So in the given case, the intention of the GST Council to grant exemption on the commission earned by ration shop person who distributing goods on behalf of the government, which is called as PDS, Public Distribution System. Now, government issue notification. When issue the government issue the notification, carefully listen, my dear friends. On 1st January, for example, on 1st January 2020, one notification issued granting exemption on the commission which is earned by ration shop person. If you distribute 1. Rice, 2. Wheat, 3. Edible oil. Full stop. Repeating, he will distribute rice, wheat, edible oil. Full stop. Like that, one notification has been issued on 1st January 2020. Ration shop wala feel very happy because his commission is exempted. While reading notification, he came to know that if I supply the rice, wheat, edible oil alone on that commission, if I earn, that alone exempted. I am supplying on behalf of the government not only these 3 items, but also salt I am supplying. I am supplying kerosene also. I am supplying what we can call it, other than these items, I am supplying moong, tor, dal, jaggery. I am supplying through particular PDS system. If I earn the commission on the other goods, when I supply, am I liable to pay GST? A question mark arises for the distributor of goods on behalf of the government, namely ration shop wala. Actually, what happened? When the notification was issued on 1st January 2020, they should have been mentioned instead of full stop, etc. If the PDS wall are distributed the following goods: 1. Rice, 2. Wheat, 3. Edible oil, etc. If etc. word is there, anything supplied by him through PDS system qualify for exemption. But they have put full stop instead of etc. That means there is a small correction required when there was issued the notification on 1st January 2020. Correction required. Notice subsequently after issuing the notification they came to know. Now government intention is to grant exemption wholly from the payment of GST for a PDS supplier, namely public distribution services supplier, ration shopwala, wholly exempt from payment of GST is the government intention. But while issue the notification, there is a flaw in drafting the law. In that case, how should we rectify this? Okay, government coming out with one more notification. When they're coming? On 1st September 2020, saying that ration shop who distribute the goods on behalf of the government exempted from payment of the GST if they distribute 1. Rice, 2. Wheat, 3. What we can call as the edible oil, etc. They mentioned in the subsequent notification, etc. That means earlier notification they corrected subsequently on 1st September 2020. Notification was issued on 1st January 2020, that has been corrected on 1st September 2020. Now the doubt arises here. This notification on 1st September 2020, which provides exemption, whole exemption to a PDS distributor, a ration shopwala wholly exempted. Whatever the goods is supplied on behalf of the government through public distribution system, on which commission is exempted. So he is very happy. Then he got again a particular doubt here. This particular exemption was issued on 1st September 2020. Is it retrospective effect from 1st January 2020, or is it a prospective effect only from 1st September 2020 only is exempted? This exemption notification is applicable. Got confused. Section 11 subsection 3 says that if any notification has been issued correcting the earlier notification, then that new notification issued has retrospective effect, provided if that corrective notification, subsequent notification, whatever issued, should have been issued within 1 year. Careful listen, my dear friends, within 1 year from the date of the earlier notification. In the given case, the first notification when? On 1st January 2020. Corrected notification when issued? On 1st September 2020. Within 8 months, means within 1 year, this has been issued. As a result, this new notification, which provides wholly exempted in the hands of the ration shop persons, in that case, that exemption is applicable with retrospective effect from 1st January 2020. Is section 11 subsection 3 says. If that corrective notification has been issued after the expiry of 1 year from the date of the earlier notification, in that case, that corrective notification corrections applicable prospectively but not retrospectively, is the way in which section 11 subsection 3 provides the provision to us. Having this, my dear friends, now I'm entering into a particular comprehensive case study. Comprehensive case study. It is Dilip Kumar and Company case. The it belongs to customs law, but hold good under the GST law also. That's why I have taken this Dilip Kumar and Company Supreme Court of India decision. Yes, my dear friends. Now coming to our Dilip Kumar and Company case. Dilip Kumar and Company case. What is it is? Here, ambiguity on interpretation of the exemption notification must be in favor of revenue. Ambiguity in exemption notification arises. It should be settled in favor of the department. Generally, we have a particular basic concept, principle of natural justice. Principle of natural justice, generally in favor of the assessee, direct tax or indirect tax as the case may be. Principle of natural justice. But when the exemption notification, which is providing exempted from payment of the GST, for example, is in ambiguity, whether the given exemption is applicable to me or not applicable to me, like that, there is a dilemma, ambiguity comes into picture. That exemption not applicable to you, you have to pay the tax. Exemption notification, which is in question whether applicable or not, then not applicable. That means to say that exemption from payment of the GST, who is granting? GST Council, notified by the government. It is up to them to give or not to give the exemption. If that is in question, whether the given supply can be interpreted to my supply, can I consider? There is an ambiguity. One expert says not applicable to you. Some other experts, no, it is applicable to you. A confusion arises, ambiguity around it. In that case, it is not applicable to you. Please pay the tax and go ahead. Landmark judgment of the Supreme Court of India in the case of Dilip Kumar and Company case. Actually, it is from the desk of customs. Is also hold good under GST law, because GST and customs goes hand in hand under the supervision of CBIC, which is functioning under the directions of GST Council. CBIC is an independent body. In spite of that, generally notify notifications upon the recommendation of GST Council under GST law. CBIC is also administering, supervising customs law. GST Council is not supervising the customs, because customs law directly comes under the Union Ministry of Finance. GST not falls under the Ministry of Finance. It is falls under the GST Council. The chairperson of the GST Council may be Union Finance Minister. Does not mean that whatever Union Finance Minister decides, that is going to implement. Sorry, it is not so, unless with the majority decision taken by the GST Council under GST. So it is well applicable even for the GST law also. Now coming to my dear friends, the exempted supply of goods. Exempted supply of goods. When you refer the exempted supply of goods, I will simplify manner to say that, my dear, I am presenting now with some more clarity. Exempted goods. Exempted goods. A big list actually it is. But here we have, for the discussion purpose, as illustrative manner, I am bringing you notice few of the supply of goods which is qualified for exemption under the GST, which now I am going to present here. Referring to here, my dear sir, the products like this: eatable vegetable, roots and tubers, or all type of cereals, all type of fishes, fresh fruits and vegetables, other than the frozen or processed one. Supply of these goods absolutely exempted from the payment of the GST. Supply of meat is supply of goods but not roasted or frozen, free from GST. Jaggery, free from GST. Thunder coconut supplies, no GST. Silkworm laying cocoon, no GST. Gandhi topi, supplier, absolute nil rate of GST. Wool, not corded or combed, absolutely free from GST. Silk waste, supply, no GST, nil rate of GST. Raw silk, no GST. Cotton used in khadi and no GST. Coconut coir and fiber, no GST. Just jute fabric or jute fiber in the raw format, absolutely free from GST. Puja samagris, but not should be made up with the platinum and gold and all. Puja samagri should be a respectable puja samagri, absolutely free from GST. Unprocessed green tea leaves, raw form, qualify from exemption. Coffee beans, not roasted, not packed in a powder form with a brand, sorry, that is taxable. It is in raw form. Coffee beans, free from GST, supply of this. All goods of seed quality, free from GST. Live animal, absolutely free from GST, except horses. Supply of horses attract the GST. Live animal, nil rate of GST. Further, fresh ginger, fresh turmeric, free from GST. Human blood and its components, sale of the blood, absolutely free from GST. All types of contraceptives, free from GST. Organic manure, meaning thereby even we call vermicompost or the fertilizer which is not with a chemical. It should be natural fertilizer, organic manure for strengthening of plants, free from GST. One minute, sir. Beetle leaves, but not beetle nuts. Beetle leaves are free from GST, nil rate of GST. Wood charcoal, coal, absolutely free from GST. Firewood fuel, wood. Firewood means the wood which is using for fire purpose, absolutely free from GST. Kumkum, Bindi, Sindur, Alta. Absolutely free from GST. Stamp papers for the registration purpose. Absolutely free from GST. No GST at all. Postal envelopes, postal items like envelopes, postcards, sale of this, absolutely free from GST. Newspapers, magazines, including Braille books, absolutely free from GST. Maps, our maps, students are using the political map, geographical map, like that, absolutely free from GST. Here I have a doubt. You are Mr. C of Chennai, a practicing CA. You have habit of reading various types of newspapers, local language as well as English language, Hindi language also. You are affectionate to read. You are happy of reading the newspapers. Over a period of 1 year, in your office, one entire room fully overflowing the newspapers. Now, you are being a practicing CA, you dispose of that particular newspaper. You called me. I'm a vendor of newspapers, namely old newspapers. I came to your place and weighted all the newspapers on weight basis. I came to know so many kilos. I said, sir, so much of kilos of newspapers, sir. I will buy it for, let us say, 25 rupees, sir, not more than that. You being a practicing CA, disposed of this particular old newspaper for rupees 25,000. The vendor dealing with the old newspapers, he purchased on kg connect, weight basis. Now you tell me, you being a practicing CA, you registered person, you Mr. C of Chennai, practicing CA, registered person at GST law. You disposed of the old newspapers and you have got 25,000. Is it supply of goods for you? Are you liable to pay GST or not? This was not asked by me, asked by CA Institute long back itself. If I am the paper setter, I will set this question for 2 marks. Now tell me, my dear friends. You have to say, you are a CA, practicing CA, you have been registered in the GST law, and now you are disposed of your old newspaper for rupees 25,000. Are you liable to pay GST? For you, supply of goods, or it is exempted supply, therefore no GST? I have not able to catch hold you. I meant here. That's why I told you, you have to have very good system of mic. Why don't you have the mic of a ear mic to speak? That will be more clearly audible to me. Exempted. Exempted goods? Okay, one answer exempted. Further, any other answer? See, I catch hold you. This is what the Rafi sir class is always I myself praise, because my students are not praising. No, that's why I'm praising. Is different from others. Sir, it is not exempted. What is exempted? Newspaper. What you supplied here is not a newspaper, is a waste paper. Waste paper can't be newspaper. Waste paper is goods. Liable for GST. Sir, I'm a practicing say, so what? Supply. Supply includes sale. Supply includes transfer. Supply includes supply of services. You being a chartered accountant, for the given supply, you have to raise a debit note against the buyer of that particular goods, and you have to pay the GST. You liable for GST. These goods are, these are called goods, taxable goods, nowhere exempted. Who said exemption? Where they said exemption? Exemption means there must be a notification in which clearly mentioned. What is mentioned here? Newspaper or waste paper? Newspaper. Newspaper different from waste paper. Said by the CA Institute, not by me. One should understand this. Further, my dear friends, earthen pot and clay lamps, supplier, seller, nil rate of GST. Handlooms, products, all free from GST. All type of handloom products, the cloth, handloom cloth, all type of color one or measurement wise, as the case may be, but it should not be made up with a shirt. Handloom shirt is made up. It is not a handloom product, it is a shirt product. Shirt is classifiable differently, taxable. Handloom, this type of nature, cloth generated from this particular, not by using the machineries. Machinery means Vimal Limited, liable to pay GST. Handloom wala, not liable to pay GST. Is a helping hand of the industry. Further, hand tools such as spades, shovels, and so on. No GST. Sale of these goods. Agricultural implements naturally operated, namely manually operated in natural course of their particular cultivation. A farmer, see, he is holding one particular stick here and one particular instrument for leveling the land before putting the seeds. Manually operated or animal driven instruments. These are the animal driven instruments. Free from GST, supply the goods. Bangles. It should not be precious bangles. It should not be diamond bangles. It should not be platinum made up. It should be bangle. Best to say plastic or glass. Only qualify from exemption. Spacecraft. Whoever may supply any instrument which is relating to spacecraft, spare parts also. For example, I am supplying spare parts to ISRO for manufacturing of the spacecraft. For that, I am supplying the goods. Spacecraft, free from GST. Sale of this particular components or sale of spacecraft, as the case may be, spacecraft, no GST. Hearing aids. Whatever may be the hearing aid, it may be battery or it may be chargeable, rechargeable, as the case may be. Hearing aids, free from GST. Sale of prasadam, Srivari prasadam, means what? When you go to Tirumala, Tirupati Devasthanam Tirumala, to the Almighty Lord Venkateswara Swami, where we are not going to satisfy with one laddu. One laddu, Devasthanam giving freely to each individual. But we are not happy with one laddu, we want more laddus. So, Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam Tirumala selling the laddus, which is none other than prasadam only. Absolutely no GST. Wholly exempted from payment of GST. Selling of our national flag, free from GST. No GST on sale of flag. Apart from that, we do have slate pencils, unbranded dates, also qualify from exemption, and some more points also is there, but I have took the important points which qualify for exemption from payment of GST on illustrative basis. Even if you take handmade music instruments, dabba, that we used to make handmade music instruments, which is indigenously made music instruments, indigenously handmade music instruments, free from GST. nil rate of GST if I supply that goods. So like that we have points, multiple points I have lifted here for your kind consideration. Dear friends, if I sold paddy, sale of paddy not attract any GST. Sale of fruits, primary market products, sale of vegetables. I am selling the potatoes. I am a farmer. No GST. Now please come back. Here, one small illustrative example is there. On the face of it, you can answer it. It needs some, if you answer this question, you will get some important point from this area. One can able to get here. With that intention, I brought this. Raman, registered person under GST law, being a dealer, furnished the following information, which is took place in the month of October. Find the GST liability. Sale of plastic bangles, 20,000. Taxable or exempted? Plastic bangle. Exempted. There you are. Sale of mobile phones. Taxable. Sale of printed books and newspapers. Yes. Yes, there you are. It is exempted. Exempted. Thereafter, sale of dates. Nothing, no brand. If it's a brand packed which is not exceeding 25 kilos, MRP product, MRP declaration is there. Pre-packaged commodity. That will be tax. But here that they are not said any pre-packaged manner. They said sale of dates in the loose format. Exempted. Further, my dear friends, exempted. Sale of salt, not a Tata brand salt, simple salt. Exempted, which is not said in the exemption list, but is implied to say that it is exempted. It is exempted. Yes. Here I can say that. Exempted. Sale of organic manure worth rupees 2 lakhs. Exempted. There you are. Yes. Next one. Sale of chemical fertilizers, 5,75,000, out of which 30% subsidy received from Government of India, directly relating to supply of goods. If so, how much is taxable? How much is exempted? Means subsidy not taxable. You are aware that no? Section 15, Section 2, Clause Z. Subsidy directly related to product. Other than government subsidy only add in the value of tax supply. Why taxable? 30%, 5,75,000. You people are sitting in the class without having the calculator, means I will get angry early morning. See, Rafi sir holding the calculator. Tell me. 4,02,500. Excellent. Balance? 1 lakh? 75,000. 7 into 500. Yes. Is exempted. Now, total taxable how much? TS. 7,22,620. On which? CGST. Means 2.5% CGST. SGST 2.5%. How much comes? 18,066. 18,066 is the way in which you finish the problem to answer in the examination. It is from this what we got means some more point we got exempted. Salt we got exemption. We came to notice here. Subsidy directly related to product from government, not taxable. These are points we understood from this. Further, my dear friends. Now, finally, we reach to the place of exempted supply of services, which is a mind-blowing. Almost 83 supply of services are there under CGST itself qualify from exemption. How to handle this? Now I am going to present in front of you the entire exempted category of supply of services, not only intrastate but also interstate. By bringing to a notice practically all these exemption of supply of services I grouped under the each industry wise, sector wise, our educational sector. So exemptions. Transportation of goods sector, exemptions. Transportation of passenger sector, what are the exemptions? Like that I have grouped here. It's a practical way of presentation. Let us start with charitable sector. When you say charitable sector, which charitable sector you are talking here? A charitable entity which is registered under the Income Tax Act under section 12 AA of Income Tax Act 1961 or section 12 AB of the Income Tax Act 1961. Such registered charitable entity offered specified charitable activities. What are they? They are as follows. Public health by way of care or counseling of terminally ill persons or persons with a severe physical or mental disability, care or counseling of persons afflicted with HIV or AIDS, or public health by way of care or counseling of persons addicted to a dependence forming substance such as narcotics, drugs or alcohol, or public health by way of care or counseling of public awareness of what you could say that public health by way of public awareness of preventive health, public health by way of family planning, public health by way of prevention of HIV infection. For this specified supply of services offered by a charitable institution which already registered into the Income Tax Act under section 12A or 12AB qualify for an exemption for the given supply of services. Followed by, if charitable activities offered by charitable institution by way of advancement of religion, spirituality or yoga. What do you mean by advancement of religion? A saint from a mutt came to Chennai in Chepauk Stadium. He is giving the religious speech to a huge gathering gathered over there. where the entry fees is there, for example, which is free from GST. Advancement of educational programs offered by charitable entities, or the charitable entities has been offered skill development relating to abandoned, orphaned or homeless children, or physically or mentally abused or traumatized persons. Advancement of education or skill development relating to prisoners or persons over the age of 65 years residing in rural area. To them, these charitable entities which has been registered under the Income Tax Act under Section 12AA or 12AB offer these services only qualify from exemption. Further, if such charitable entity registered under the Income Tax Act under Section 12AA or 12AB offered services of preservation of environment including watershed, forest and wildlife, qualify from exemption. Wildlife. A particular charitable trust is formed and registered in Income Tax Act under Section 12AB of the Income Tax Act, and it is going to protect wildlife animals. Cheetah, lion, they are safeguarding, for which if they provide any services for conservation. What type of services of this, sir? Sir, for example, this particular charitable trust is providing services of safeguarding animals of a particular zoo, where the wildlife animal, they are undertaken to protect it and charging the charges from the zoo. Who's charging? Charitable institution, free from GST. Or providing clean and green of forest, security services to the forest, offered by whom? A charitable entity, already registered in Income Tax Act under Section 12A or 12AB, then qualify from exemption. If a charitable institution not registered under Section 12A or 12AB, or the recognition is denied by the income tax, as the case may be, offer these services, will utter the GST. Further, my dear friends, if such 12AA entity or 12AB entity, being a charitable institution, import services to provide the specified nature of services effectively in India, for which they are receiving the input services by paying the payment, also qualify from exemption. Meaning thereby, if a particular Nirmala Trust in India, which is Section 12AB of the Income Tax Act registered person, import these services of such nature of services which are going to be helpful to the Nirmala Trust to effectively provide abandoned children in India. Therefore, they are importing, or severely mentally abused persons are disease affected. Namely, you are aware of that age is 45 years, but that person, gentleman, not able to wear the shirt because mentally not fit. For the welfare of that particular persons, Nirmala Trust is functioning, and for doing effectively best services to those people, if Nirmala Trust import these services by making the payment to get good equipment, knowledge to provide effectively and easy manner to this particular severely mental abused persons or traumatized persons or HIV affected persons, to them rehabilitation purpose, if they import any services. For example, I am telling you that import of services, though using for their business or commerce, qualify for exemption, exempt from the payment of the GST, namely IGST. Apart from that, my dear, we do have here supply of services by an entity registered under section 12A or 12AB. Now I also add here not only this particular services, but also section 10, 23 BBA of Income Tax Act or section 10, 23 C of Income Tax Act. If these, here only I am adding these two sections. In the earlier case, charitable activities I said na, the 12A, 12AB only. When you come for renting of precinct by a religious place for any commercial purposes, where that particular religious place registered Income Tax Act under section 12A, 12AB or section 1023 BBA or section 1023C subclass 5, as the case may be, if they offered per month basis their immovable property on rental basis, where the rent per month less than or equal to rupees 10,000 exempted. Sir, they have the auditoriums, they have the Kalyana Mandapams, which is giving on day basis, sir. If so, per day, such rent less than or equal to rupees 10,000 qualify from exemption. Further, if they are offering short-term accommodation services per day per room basis, which is less than or equal to rupees 1,000, qualify from exemption. Qualify from exemption. Who are they? The supplier should be section 12AA of Income Tax Registration. If not, 12AB of Income Tax Registration. If not, section 10 subsection 23 BB of the Income Tax Act or section 10 subsection 23C class 5 of the Income Tax Act. If these organizations own religious place, first point, religious place, the religious place should be meant for general public. Meaning what? If a Vinayakar Koil is inside of a factory premises, Lord Vinayakar is there inside of the factory, a big temple is there, inside of a factory premises. I am going on the road, I saw Lord Vinayakar, I have love and affection on him. So I want to go there inside and take the blessings of the Lord Vinayakar Swami. Security wala stopping me, hey, wait, who are you? I am going on the road, I saw the temple, so I want to take blessings. Sorry sir, this temple is only for our staff only, others not allowed. Which is not a general public. Meaning what? The temple open for all. As a human being, I can go and take the blessings of the Almighty. It's called general public at large. So, a religious place should be meant for general public, and the property should be located within their compound walls of the religious place, within the precinct of the religious place. Then that particular religious entity which was registered under income tax section 10A, 1023 BBA, 1023C subclass 5, 10 section 12 AA or 12 AB of the income tax. Then the rental charges per day per room na less than or equal to 1,000. If it is per day basis, open space, auditorium, Kalyana Mandapam, less than or equal to 10,000. Per month basis, renting of the properties, less than or equal to 10,000 per month. Qualify for exemption. More than that, taxable. Per day per room. Tirumala, Tirupati Devasthanam, Tirumala, where we have cottages. Various people coming over there, all over India, not globally coming over there, and they want to reside in Tirumala for 2 days, 3 days. There they book the cottage. Cottage rental per day per room charged by Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam, Tirumala, 800 rupees exempted. 1800 taxable. What value taxable? Entire 1800 taxable, not the over and above 1000 rupees. Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam Tirumala also liable to pay GST in the given case. There was a judgment of the Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam case of Andhra Pradesh. Andhra Pradesh High Court said Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam Tirumala should pay the GST on their cottage rent where the amount is exceed ₹1,000 per day per room, said by the judiciary. So now please come back. Furthermore points. Services by way of training or coaching in sports by charitable entities. Here only 12A, 12B only. 1023 BBA, 1023 C is here only. Here only. It is here only. In this area only it is. You don't come down. When you come here, training, coaching in sports by whom? Charitable entities. 12A, 12AB of Income Tax Act exempted from payment of GST. For example, Mary Trust, 12A of the Income Tax Act, providing training in sports to Stella Maris College, absolutely exempted from payment of GST. Further, here a circular of the CBSE, one should note. You are now master with this circular to speak, because why I kept the exemptions at this junction is, when I say composite supply, you are very much aware of that. If I say mixed supply, you know what is it is. Sir, advancement of yoga exempted. Advancement of spirituality, advancement of religious exempted. Now, let us say a case where Sri Ravi Shankar, Art of Living from Bangalore, they want to have advancement of yoga, 5 days residential camp, where? In Chepauk Stadium, Chennai. Section 12A entity it is. They are offering not only advancement of yoga, but also pick up and drop of the passengers, I mean to say participants, food and beverages to the participants, and along with that stay accommodation services offering, pick up and drop of participants, followed by accommodation services, followed by food and beverage services. Along with this, Art of Living also be offering advancement of yoga. All put together, they are charging from each participant 10,000 rupees for 10 days or 5 days. For 5 days, 10,000 rupees. Is a composite supply. CBSE said, what is the predominant element of supply? Not the food and beverages, not the short-term accommodation, not the pick-up and drop services. These are all ancillary services for the main supply of called what? Advancement of yoga. As a result, the entire supply is classified under the advancement of yoga. Resultantly, it is exempted from payment of GST because the Art of Living is registered under section 12A or 12AB of the Income Tax Act. That is the reason. As an example only I am bringing to notice, my dear friends. Suppose Art of Living, section 12AB of Income Tax Act, registered person, conducting in Chepauk Stadium aerobics or otherwise fitness services, pranic healing services. Pranic healing means what? without touching the human being, taking the power from the solar and providing a miracle of a treatment. It is, in fact, if it is proved and approved by the government, maybe down the line, maybe going to be happen. Nowadays, people are putting the chip in the human being brain. It happened successfully. One human being, surgery done on the top of the head by a robo, not human being. Robo is putting a hole on the head, small hole, inserting a small chip, that chip interacting with the brain. The human now the brain of the human directly communicate with the system. What we are doing, I'm typing, I'm just scrolling, not like that. Next page. I decide means it will go next page. After seeing that, okay, show a movie will show. I'm speaking with the system, with the machine, because I'm also a hybrid machine, partly human being, partly machine. Now a surgery has been taken place in America, and the person who undergone the surgery after having the inserting of the chip in the brain is now recovering, and if it's going to be succeed means what is going to happen? Of course, almost a succeed it is. Human being is recovering after having that particular chip in the mind, in the brain, not in the mind, in the brain, which has so many particular connectivity lines, that particular silicon threads, which is how much strength of that particular silicon thread which is inserted in the brain. It is our hair. From that, 20% of the hair is the thickness of the particular wire in the chip. There are so many wires which is going to be spread in the brain, and the human being not want to remember anything. Indirect keep in the brain and in the chip. Section wise, rule wise, notification wise can speak the provision. If that comes means we not want to have to take classes. The human brain will take classes. But what a miracle it is. Likewise, if I am having a dirty mind, what is a dirty mind? See, if I have not taken the bath for 10 days, yes or no? What is the so sweaty smell? Go. Sir, 10 days before I taken the bath, sir. Go for bath. So what I am doing to clean my outer body, taking the bath, cleaning with the soap. Now freshness. Likewise, inside of my mind, so much of dirtiness should clean. Pranic healing. Such a pranic healing treatment offered by a person is section 12A entity. What is the pranic healing? That gentleman is to take power from solar and patient to him. By giving like that treatment, over a period of time, the inside of dirtiness of the mind will be get clean. My fresh mind. What do you mean this, sir? Understandably not understanding. Are you mad fellow to say something which is not understandable? I am not a mad fellow. I am a wise fellow only. How I am presenting the pranic healing? Now you understand. Sir, before undergoing the treatment of pranic healing, I have so much of dirtiness in mind, frustration, anger, After 25 years of I am meeting on my childhood friend. He called me, hey, how are you? Where are you? This fellow asked, I am there here only in front of you. What is this? Reply. Friend asking, where you are working? I am working in Infosys company only. What? Your designation over there? Friend asked with the curiosity. I replied, I am only a CFO. CFO, what is your salary? That fellow is anxiety asking, how much? It is 15 lakhs per month only. 50 lakhs per month. But this fellow has no interest, no anxiety, no enthusiasm. Because dirtiness in mind. If I undergo the treatment of pranic healing, after that, now I am meeting with my childhood friend after 25 years. He said, hey, how are you? I am replying, I am extremely fine and good. What about you? Where you are working? He asked me. Then I am replying after having pranic healing, I am working in a multinational company, Infosys company. What is your designation? My designation is such that without my presence, the shutters of the company not going to open. What is your designation over there? I am the watchman over there, man. What is your salary? Per month I am getting 25,000. See, the way of presentation, the way of expression is after pranic healing, is the concept of the pranic healing. If that is really going to be proved and approved, miracle only it is. Nowadays, chip inserting in the human being brain, why not this pranic healing? But my point here to say, if a charitable institution registered in the section 12AA, for example, C. Ravi Shankar, sir, Art of Living, providing pranic healing, 12AA entity, pranic healing service offered, taxable or exempted? Taxable. Presently, under the Indian Medical Establishment Act, the pranic healing is not approved medicine in India, which is not a healthcare services. Recognized healthcare. It is a healthcare services, but not a recognized healthcare services under the Indian Medical Establishment Act. That's why we are not considering this. And moreover, such a thing is offered by a particular charitable institution, pranic healing services, fitness services, spoken English services, typewriting services, shorthand services, presently not qualify from exemption, though the institution may be 12A or 12AB of the Income Tax Act. Further, my dear friends, section 12A or 12AB of entity offered rehabilitation professional services. Rehabilitation professional services. What type of service we are referring here? Rehabilitation professional services. Services offered by charitable institutions, 12A, 12AB of income tax registered entities in the nature of rehabilitation professionals. If there is a case that supply of services qualify from exemption, what are they? Like this, my dear friends, rehabilitation professionals means like this nature. If you refer here, adult stroke rehabilitation, physical therapy and rehabilitation profession services of like this, or physical or occupational therapy services, which are form part of the rehabilitation professional services. Such services offered by 12A or 12AB of the Income Tax Act qualify from exemption. Further, supply of services offered by section 12AA or 12AB of the Income Tax Act registered entities in the nature of old age home services. To whom? To residents for a consideration For a consideration up to rupees 25,000 per month per member, only qualify from exemption. What do you mean this? Recipient should be resident. It should be a old age home services. Per month, per member should not charge more than 25,000. Then in that case, supplier of this particular service of old age home must be section 12A or 12AB of the Income Tax Act registered person, then qualify from exemption. This is what exemptions with regard to charitable sector. Now referring to you, yes, please. Yeah. See here, per month, per room, which is commercial nature, renting of immovable property. Whatever may be the purpose, monthly basis they are charging per month should not go beyond rupees 10,000. If religious place meant for general public, which is offering short-term accommodation services, there are two types of services. One is called renting of immovable property services, other one is short-term accommodation services. Short-term accommodation is always per day per room basis. In that case, less than or equal to rupees 1,000 is exempted. More than 1,000 enter value attract the GST, even though in the hands of the supplier may be registered in section 12A or 12AB or section 1023 BBA or section 1023 C subclass 5 of the Income Tax Act, as the case may be, taxable. If it is more than rupees per month, per day per room. If it is per month comes into picture, 10,000. All to different. Kalyana Mandapam, open space, release place meant for general public. They have the open space, 2 acres of land within the compound walls of the release place. They are let out for a shooting, for a movie. How they let out a open space, the Kalyana Mandapam, auditorium, this and all, not monthly basis, generally. If monthly basis comes to 10,000 rupees per month. If it's per day basis, less than equal to rupees 10,000 only exempted. Per day per room, short-term accommodation is less than equal to 1,000 exempted per day per room. Any further more doubt? Yes. Now please come back, my dear friends. Referring to here, some services offered by the education institutions, they also be under the 12A or 12AB, not the particular charitable category, 12A or 12AB. Education institutions, if they offered classes for CA students, private coaching, absolute at GST. Reason, they are not providing specified charitable activities. Try to understand that. Rafi Academy, providing commercial training coaching to budding chartered accountants. Assume 12A entity, for example, we reach 12A, income is given status to us 12A, 12AB, as the case may be. When we render services and collecting the fees from students, liable to pay GST or not? Absolutely liable to pay GST, no question of exemption here. Now coming to the other category, I told you sometimes before, In the case where entire business has been transferred, it may be on account of succession, on account of merger, demerger, amalgamation, whatnot. Going concern going to continue. In that case, it is not called as supply of goods. It is not fall under Schedule 2, point number 4, sub point 3. Going concern going to wind up, close the business, ceases to exist, a registered person, the assets of the business is deemed supply of goods. If the going concern going to continue with the other name, we call it as a supply of service. That service is exempted from payment of the GST. Look here. Partnership firm, X company, now converted into LLP, limited liability partnership firm. Thereby, there is a change in the constitution of the business. New company has been formed in the name of LLP. It was earlier partnership firm registered in the Partnership Act 1932. Now it is converting into LLP. LLP is a different one, which is under the basis of the Register of Companies. LLP is going to form. You are aware of that. In that case, separate PAN number for LLP. Now, in that case, the partnership firm assets and liabilities will become the assets and liabilities of the LLP. In that case, such a transfer is not supply of goods services. That services qualify from exemption. LLP takes over the X company assets and liabilities and continue to operate the same business. In that case, the services qualify from exemption. It is not taxable supply. Since transfer of business as a going concern to another person, then it will not be supply as per section as per Schedule 2 of CGST Act. It is not supply of goods. What is this? Supply of services. So, which is exempted under this particular, on the top I said, services by way of transfer of going concern as a whole or part and independent part thereof, as the case may be, is supply of services, which is exempted services under the notification number 12/2017. Now I am coming to the government sector. When you say government, we have a definition, which is central government, state government, or union territory, its departments. Governmental authority different from government. Government authority means an act set up by the parliament, by passing an act in the parliament or state legislative assembly, or the government invested by way of equity, not less than 90% of the equity shares or not less than 90% of voting rights held by the government in a particular institution, and that institution is meeting the objectives of Article 243G or Article 243W of the Constitution of India, is called government authority. Whatever government entity means an act enacted in the parliament or state legislative assembly, or an establishment is established where the 90% or more equity held by the government or more than or equal to 90% of the voting right held by the government. But here not mentioned meeting the objectives of Article 243 or Article 240W. Therefore, such a government entity is different from governmental authority. Government authority and government entity entirely different from government. One should have this classification. One should have this particular bifurcation. One should have a focused attention, which is government, which is not a government. Because I'm talking about supply of services by government means central, state or UT, but not governmental authority, but not government entity. Then what do you mean by government department? Examples are as follows: CBDT, CBIC, GST department, income tax department, all ministries are called government. Government authority means what? The authority which is established by passing an act in the parliament or state legislative assembly, or otherwise the institution in which not less than 90% of equity held by the government or not less than 90% of the voting held by the government, which are going to meet the objectives of the Article 243G, Article 243W of the Constitution of India. There is a list of services to meet that objectives, for which there are the institutions like Tamil Nadu Slum Clearance Board, Telangana Scheduled Caste Cooperative Development Corporation Limited, Rajiv Gandhi Housing Corporation Limited, a government of Karnataka undertaking, or the Khadi and Village Industries Commission, or it may be a state Solar Energy Corporation of India Limited, like that. These are the institutions, examples regarding government authority. Why? They are going to meet the objectives of Article 243G or Article 243W of the Constitution of India. What are those activities? Means the activities as follows. Article 243G of the Constitution of India, the list of services which are going to be provided by the institution established by government or holding 90% or more equity shares or more than 90% or equal to 90% of voting rights by government. If so, we call government authority. What are these objectives? Agriculture, incident, including agriculture extension, land improvement, implementation of land reforms, land consolidation, soil conservation, minor irrigation, water management, watershed development, animal husbandry, dairying and poultry, fisheries, social forestry and farm forestry, minor forestry produce, small scale industries including food and processing industries, khadi and village industries, rural housing development, drinking water facility providing services, fuel, fodder services, road services, culvert services, ferries, waterways and other means of communication, rural electrification including distribution of electricity services, non-conversion energy, poverty elevation programs, education program including primary and secondary school development, technical training or vocational training education providing institutions, or the adult and the what we can call adult and non-formal education, library services, culture activities, market and fairs, health, sanitation including hospital, primary health centers, dispensaries, family welfare, women and child development, social welfare including welfare of the handicapped and mental retarded services, welfare of the weaker section, and in particulars of the SC/STs, public distribution systems, maintenance of community assets are called as Article 243G of the Constitution of India. Or otherwise, Article 243W of the Constitution, where list of services like urban planning including town planning, regulation of land use and construction of buildings, planning for economic and social development, roads and bridges, water supply for domestic, industrial, and commercial purposes, public health, sanitation, conservation, and solid waste management, fire services, urban forestry, protection and environment of protection of ecological aspects, safeguarding the interest of the weaker section of the society, including the handicapped and mental retarded persons, slum improvement upgradation services, followed by urban poverty services, urban poverty elevation services, provision of urban amenities and facilities such as parks, gardens, playgrounds for the welfare of the public, providing services, promotion of cultural education and aesthetic aspect, burials and burial ground services, cremation, crematorium services, and electric crematorium services, cattle pond services, prevention of cruelty to animal services, vital statistics including registration of birth and death certificates, providing institutions, public amenities including street lighting, parking lots, bus stop facilities, and public convenience services, lavatories, washroom, bathroom services, regulation of the slaughterhouses and tannery services. We call all these services as Article 243W. If the institution established by passing an act in the parliament or in the state legislative assembly to meet these objectives, Article 243 or Article 240W, we call governmental authority. If established by passing an act in the parliament or state assembly, or the institution may be established by government by investing 90% of equity shares by acquiring in it, or 90% above voting rights held by the government, we call government entity. If that is going to meet the objectives of this Article 243W or Article 243G, then we call it as governmental authority. Then what do you mean by government entity? ICAI, the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, Act enacted in the Parliament in the year 1949, the Institute of Cost Accountants of India, the Company Secretaries of India, likewise IITs, IIMs, are the Anna University, Madras University, Jawaharlal Nehru University, Indira Gandhi Open University. These and all we called as government entity but not governmental authority. You have to have the clarification in this regard. Having this type of clarifications and clear cut understanding. Now I am bringing to a notice. Supply of services, any person to whom they provided. They have provided services to recipient of services. Who is the recipient here? Government, local authority, that's all. Any person provide the services to government, local authority, pure labor services, which is meeting the objectives of Article 243G or Article 240W. In that case, absolutely qualify from exemption, provided it should be pure labor. No, sir. While providing the labor services, material also be supplied, sir. What type of services? Sir, my name is Krishnakant Builders. I am the Krishnakant Builder. I have undertaken to repair the road for the local authority. Chennai Corporation awarded me a contract to repair the road, public road. It is one of the objective of the Article 243G or Article 2W. Krishnakant Builders providing road repair services, laying the road services. In that case, pure labor service exempted. While providing such a road laying services, repair services, I provide labor as well as material also. No problem. Also be exempted from the payment of GST in the hands of the Krishnakant Builders, provided the material involved in the total value of the contract should not go beyond 25% of the value of the contract. For example, value of the contract 100 lakhs. I supplied the labor and material. Material 20 lakhs. What percentage? 20%. Well within the 25%. If I provide the material 30 lakhs, more than 25%, the entire value of my supply of 100 lakhs will enter GST. You are within that limit, well and good. If you cross the limit, you are punishable with GST. Not punishable with the GST, sorry to say. You are liable for GST. Payment of GST, not a punishment, sorry to say. Payment of GST is our responsibility, where they are liable to pay GST. So, what I am trying to say here, my dear friends, if the supplier supplied any services which is going to meet the objective of Article 243G or Article 243W, in that case, the supply provided to government or local authority absolutely qualify for an exemption. Even though material supplied, the value of the material should not go beyond 25% of the total value of the contract, then qualify exemption. Further, supplier of service now, government, governmental authority. Supplier of services is now governmental authority. In that case, government authority, now we came to know, is an establishment enacted by passing an act in the parliament or state legislative assembly, and it is also meeting the objectives of Article 240W. Like that we understand. Tamil Nadu Slum Improvement Board, one of the best example. If such a governmental authority provides these services to recipient of service, any person, in that case, what type of services? To meet the objectives of Article 243G or Article 240W, obviously, then only we call it government authority, supplier, qualify from exemption. Qualify from exemption. Pure labor services. What about the material? The value of material should not go beyond 25% of the contract value. Exempt. In the hands of governmental authority, if they provide to any person. Further, now coming to an example here. Power to notify pursuant to section 7, section 2, clause B of the CGST. Somewhere we come across under the scope of supply, supply excludes section 7, section 1, clause A, schedule 3 transaction, supply excludes. Thereafter, section 7, section 2, clause B, power to notify. If you are providing as services as a governmental authority, you can what we can call here. We used to call here services supplied by person authorized person. That I refer already to you. Just I will be recalling the entire point here as follows. Scope of supply is there in your page number 17. Where? Here you look. Section 7, subsection 2. In that class B, my dear, class B, this one, class B. Supply excludes such activities or transactions undertaken by the central government or a state government or a union territory or any local authority in which they are engaged as public authorities. The word is public authorities. Supplier of service is central government, state government, local authority or unitary. While providing activities, they have provided that as public authorities, provide services. But what type of services provided by government, local authority, called as public authorities should be notified. If notified, accordingly we will refer. They have notified now. What are they? Such notified services called as public authority services supplied by the central government, state government, unitary or local authority not attract GST because supply excludes it is, which is not attract GST. I won't say exempted, it is excluded from the scope of supply. What are they? 1. Such activities as public authorities. What are those activities? 1. Notified activities. Services by way of any activity in relation to a function interested to Panchayat or under Article 243G of the Constitution of India or municipality under the Article 243W of the Constitution of India. Such services. What are they? All these services qualify for as public authorities. Supplied by government, local authority qualify for exemption. It means not exemption, supply excludes. Services by way of grant of alcoholic liquor license against consideration in the form of license fee or application fee or by whatever name call it as. Be careful. If the central state government is empowered to grant the license, no. See, here in Tamil Nadu, task mark should be run by a person. Government only supplying liquor for the human being consumption, means we call it as alcoholic liquor meant for human consumption. Sale of it non-taxable goods outside the scope of GST. But I wanted to open a task mark shop to sell the liquor meant for human consumption. I need a license. I have to apply for the want of license. Government, by verifying the various competitors, highest bidder, I am the highest bidder, they give me the license, where I pay the fees to government, state government of Tamil Nadu. Such a fees paid to government of Tamil Nadu, in the hands of the government of Tamil Nadu, that fees not attach the GST because it is supply excludes, notified. Further, the interstate movement of the goods between distinct persons, except in case where such movement is for further supply of the same goods. Sometimes before I refer to you, head office sending the goods to branch office of other state where the two of them are registered persons, distinct persons. If so, supply of that goods even without consideration is supply, but the vehicle carrying the goods is owned by the head office. After delivering the goods, the vehicle will come back to head office. In that case, the movement of the goods is supply of goods. The vehicle is movement of vehicle between distinct persons at interstate level. That vehicle also supply of goods? Not. It is not a supply of goods. CBSE circular also is there. Supply excludes. One point I am referring here, notified supplies under section 7, subsection 2, which is provided by central government, state government, unitary, or local authority acting as public authorities. If notified in the official gazette, then supply excludes. These are the notifieds. Few examples. These are only notified, not anything else. If there means, I will bring to notice. Further, my dear friends, referring to government sector, we already understand these points. We also understand these points. Supplier of service, government, local authority, provide the services to recipient, which is business entity. If they provide the services not covered in Article 243G, not covered Article 243W, in that case, also exempted if it is not this type of supplies. A supply of service, namely supplied by Indian Postal Department, now here one amendment is there from 1st October 2023, from 20th October 2023, not only Indian Postal Department but also Indian Railways, which need to be bring to a notice here. Yes, I will bring notes right now because it should be referred with the amended provision. Government sector. Government sector. I would like to refer government sector. See, supply of services by government or local authority which is not covered under Article 243G or Article 243W. If the following supply of services are offered is a forward charge, who liable to pay GST? Supplier being a government or local authority liable to pay GST. Whenever I say government, which includes central, state as well as UT. In short, government. Local authority, panchayat, municipality, corporation, gateway corporation, like that. If they provide the services which is not covered under the section 7, subsection 2, it is not supply excludes. In that case, supply includes, which is basically taxable, if not specifically exempted. Meaning what? Supply of service by government or local authority provide these services like this. Services of Department of Post. Services of Department of Post means what, my dear? Central Government of India, Postal Department. Now inserted from 20th October 2023, Ministry of Railways, Indian Railways, Central Government of India. If Indian Postal Department or the Indian Railways, if they provide these services, forward charge, who liable to pay GST? Supplier being a Indian Postal Department or Indian Railways, they only liable to pay GST, provided if that supply is not qualify exemption. Whether there is an exemption, yes, we have exemption. Here we have exemption. Indian Postal Department, if provide the services, what type of services? Supply of postcard services, inland letter, book post and ordinary post where the envelope weight less than 10 grams. How to understand this? Look here. Indian Postal Department provide any services taxable except the following. Services by way of Department of Post by way of postcard, inland card are exempted. Book post and ordinary post where the envelope weight, this envelope weight should not go beyond 10 grams. It should be less than 10 grams, not even equal to 10 grams also. Then qualify from exemption. Indian Postal Department provide services. If not exempted, taxable. Forward charge, no reverse charge. Further, my dear sir, now here Ministry of Railways, namely Indian Railways, from 20th October 2023, if they provide the services, forward charge, unless specifically exempted. What is exempted? Indian Railways provide the services, transportation of passenger services in a coach other than AC or first class, then qualify from exemption. If it is exempted, neither forward charge nor reverse charge. Neither forward charge nor reverse charge. If the supply is exempted, no levy attract. If no levy, not required to forward or reverse. Indian Railways provide transportation of goods services in goods train. Some of the goods are exempted. Transportation of goods, freight. 1. If they transported relief material, exempted. Agricultural produce, exempted. Milk, salt, food grains, which includes flour. Food grains includes flour, rice. Further, if supply of milk by Indian Railways, exempted. Milk, salt, food grains. Food grains includes rice, other what we can call it, cereal, means to say food items, gram, dal and all. If they transported, exempted, including flour, the atta, exempted. If transported organic manure, exempted. If it is exempted, no question of liability of GST. Indian Railways provide the services, which is taxable services. Always refer to forward charge. Hey, Indian Railways, being a baby of the government of India, you only liable to pay GST. The law is made here, amendment. Further, Indian Postal Department provide any services, forward charge, except the following. What are they? If they provided by way of postcard, inland card, book post, ordinary post. Book post, ordinary post, where the weight should be less than 10 grams, then qualify for exemption. Further, if supplier is a government or local authority, provide these services to any business entity, is taxable, forward charge, where they are providing. Further, second point, service in relation to aircraft or vessel inside or outside the precinct of a port or airport. For example, Indian Navy, Government of India, provided repair services to a GINA Limited vessel. GINA Limited vessel is a private company, a particular non-government is a corporate company. To that GINA Limited vessel, Indian Navy provide the services and charge the charges, attract the GST. Who liable to pay GST? Supplier, being a government, being a local authority, supplier only liable to pay GST. Services in relation to vessel, aircraft within the port or outside the port, as the case may be. Further, transportation of goods or passenger services. Goods or passenger services. Sir, government is providing transportation of goods, sir. Indian Railways. Forward charge, already said no. If it is not Indian Railways, any other government, for example, state government of Andhra Pradesh, sometimes before what they did, no, APSRTC, Andhra Pradesh Road Transport Corporation, it is a government entity. You are aware of that? Government, it is. Government department it is now. Government running it. The employees no longer is a government entity. It is formed part of the government. State government of Andhra Pradesh, they taken that particular corporation as a department of the government. In that case, government department. If they provide services, forward charge. Who liable to pay GST? Government will liable to pay GST for transportation of passengers. Further, renting of immovable property offered by government or local authority to tenant for commercial purposes. If the recipient is a unregistered person, on the rent, the GST liability on supplier, namely on government or local authority. Other than this forward charge, all are called as reverse charge. If the government providing renting of immovable property on commercial basis to a registered person, recipient only liable to pay GST. If the recipient is an unregistered person, forward charge, supplier liable to pay GST, supplier liable to pay GST. This one, supplier liable to pay forward charge, it is FCM. If it is registered person, then it is RCM. As simple as that. This FCM or RCM will apply only when it is not exempted. We have list of exemptions here. Exempted supply of services where the supply offered by the central government, state government or unitary or a local authority to business entity. List of exemptions also we have. If the service not exempted, it is by default attract the GST under RCM, if not specifically mentioned as a FCM. So, a detailed study of exemptions which I am going to take up in subsequent class. Tomorrow we have the class at 6 a.m. I will try to have the 6 a.m. class, my dear friends. If the technical issues comes into picture, as a human being, I can't do anything. So, please cooperate with me, or I may be sometimes, if the technical issues are there, physical issues comes into picture, meaning what? Maybe I am not fit by 6 a.m. to take the class. Definitely I will inform and I will take the class by 6:30. So, please cooperate with me, my dear, and see you by tomorrow at 6 a.m. to continue from here. Is it clear? Government sector not completed, still there, we have to complete, because which big sector it is. Thank you. Thank you. Have a good day. Thank you, Amma. Thank you. Welcome.